Well, we've got a couple of things to react to today. Firstly, we have to start with the Champions League draw that has just taken place. Manchester United have been drawn in the same group as Bayern Munich, FC Copenhagen and Galatasaray. Now, to my knowledge, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, this is the first time that Manchester United have played Bayern Munich in the group stage of the Champions League since Manchester United won the treble in 1999. Like I say, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm fairly confident that that is the truth. So hopefully that's a good omen for us. It is, of course, an immediate return to England for Harry Kane, and Bayern are going to fancy their chances of absolutely stuffing us the way we've played at the start of this season. It is a real concern that we could get a little bit humiliated by Bayern Munich in those two fixtures. But you never know. It's a good opportunity to test ourselves against big opposition early on. And I also think Galatasaray is not the easiest of fixtures either. They are historically a very tough place to go to. Like I say, away from home, the welcome to death and all of that stuff. And there'll be a tough set of opponents, no doubt. And Copenhagen as well, a bit of history for us there as well. Rasmus Højlund, his former club. So he'll be making his way back to Copenhagen for those two fixtures. But overall, I'm fairly happy with that group. I'm not going to lie. I would expect Manchester United to get through that group. I don't expect us to win the group, which obviously in the Champions League does make your run for the rest of the tournament a lot harder if you do finish runners-up in your group, because it means you'll be playing against a group winner in the next round. But at the end of the day, you have to beat the best teams if you're going to progress in the Champions League. So we might as well get ourselves ready by playing a big club like Bayern Munich in the group stage. I just hope it's not detrimental enough that it means that we do crash out at the group stage. I cannot move on from this Champions League draw without talking about Group F, though. Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan and Newcastle. What an introduction, or reintroduction, should I say, for Newcastle United. All their hopes and dreams of glory and playing European football. But I've got to be honest, I think that's a great group for Newcastle. That they're not expected to do anything in this competition. Obviously, they would love to get through the group stage. But at the end of the day, European nights for those Newcastle fans, it's all about going to the big stadiums, being able to go to the Parc de France, being able to go to the I can't remember, the yellow wall at the Borussia Dortmund stadium, and of course the San Siro before it gets knocked down. So a brilliant group for Newcastle. I hope they progress through it, because I've got no real issues with Newcastle. I'd love to see them go through, especially if it means that Paris Saint-Germain don't get through once again. And of course, Manchester City get the absolute easiest group you've ever seen. Leipzig for I think the third or fourth season in a row. Red Star Belgrade and Young Boys, and of course Arsenal, who I think have got a pretty tricky group, it has to be said. Sevilla, PSV, and Lens. A lot of banana skins in that group for Arsenal. None of those games are easy. You'd probably say Lens are the easiest now that they've sold Seko Fofana and Loic Openda, but a really tough group, I think, for Arsenal as well, but one you'd expect them to top. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Champions League goes. If you put me on the spot right now, I would probably say Bayern and United get through Group A, Arsenal and PSV get through Group B, Real Madrid and Napoli get through Group C, Inter and probably Benfica get through Group D, Atletico and I would expect Lazio to get through Group E. I'd say probably Paris Saint-Germain and AC Milan would just sneak through Group F, but honestly, anything's possible in that group. I'd expect the top two in Man City and Leipzig to get through Group G, and probably Barcelona and Porto, maybe Shakhtar Donetsk, maybe Royal Antwerp. To be fair, those three teams, there's probably not a lot to split between them. Antwerp have done very well to get into the Champions League, and they're going to cause problems for any team they come up against in this tournament. So I'd probably still go Barcelona and Porto right now, but that'd be interesting. So that's it in terms of my predictions for the Champions League draw, and of course my overall reactions to Manchester United's chances. That's not the only news today, though. We have, of course, got the news that Manchester United have agreed to sign another left-back in Sergio Reguilon from Tottenham on what looks to be a 6-month loan deal, with the injuries to Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia. We have made the decision that a left-back signing is needed. Personally, I don't think we need left-back cover. I'm more than happy with Alvaro Fernandez, who is by all intensive purposes, a Spanish left wing-back, and that's all Sergio Reguilon's ever been, is a Spanish left wing-back that had very poor success in the Premier League, I'd say. So I don't see the real reason for signing him when you've got Alvaro Fernandez, and obviously Diogo Dalot can play left-back as well, but I understand we don't want to be playing both of our right-backs at the same time. I would also say that Lisandro Martinez can also play at left-back as well. So from an actual standpoint of signing a left-back, I don't really understand going for one, but I can see the reasons why we have gone for that. And then to actually go for Reguilon himself, I would have preferred, if we were going to sign one, to go for Cucurella. I understand the reasons again why we haven't. Firstly, Chelsea playing him last night means that he's unable to play for a third club if he does go back to Chelsea in January, because the intention will be for Chelsea to get rid of him. So having played for Chelsea last night, if he then plays for us, he cannot legally play for a third club in the same season. So that's put a massive dampener on that. Also, it does affect the cost of the signing. Cucurella would have cost us a much higher loan fee. And as David Ornstein's put here, it allows us to recruit Sofian Amrabat, who is obviously our big midfield target. And due to financial fair play, it seems that we have to sign Reguilon over Cucurella because the loan fee for Cucurella would not leave us enough budget to get Sofian Amrabat. So, again, I get the reason why we need a left back. I get the reason why we went for Sergio Reguilon. But I just don't think it's good business all round. I don't think we need Sergio Reguilon. I don't think he fits the sort of profile of player we need. Ten Hag looks to be trying to get these players that can sort of play left back and go into midfield. Reguilon, as I said, is a wing back, so he's more used to sticking to the byline or the touch line and going down that side rather than coming inside. And certainly Wan-Bissaka is not really good at coming off on the inside on the right. So unless we're going to play Reguilon on the left and Dalot on the right, and that's how we're going to do it, but then I think we're far too attacking. I don't really understand it from that standpoint. I think Cucurella would have been absolutely ideal to play in that transitional role from left back into left midfield because he is very, very good on the ball. He's a very good tackler. And I would have liked to have seen him as that sort of player that comes in off the side. And of course, he can also play left centre-back, whereas Reguilon basically can either play left wing-back or struggles at left-back. So if we are signing him with the intention of playing him against Arsenal on Sunday, it would be a real concern for me. I think it still has to be Dalot, especially given the fact that Saka is very much come inside on his left foot. I think it benefits actually having a right footer up against someone who wants to cut in on their left side. So we'll see, but not really convinced about the whole Reguilon thing. And as for doing it for financial fair play reasons in terms of signing Amrabat, then that just proves that we've not done our sales business very good this year. Once again, we've spoken about it enough times, the likes of Harry Maguire, Fred only going for 10 million, McTominay deals not going through, Henderson only going for 15 million when initially it was looking like we could get 25 to 30 million for him. Bailly still hasn't gone. So many players that we've tried to offload and have failed to offload means that we have to sign worse players. With the greatest respect to Reguilon, I hope he does fantastic for Manchester United, but as things stand right now, I don't see it happening. But we have to reduce our transfer policy just to get the players we actually want because we're incapable of selling players that we massively overspent on in the first place. So those are my thoughts. I think it's an interesting signing. I don't think it's going to work out too well, but we'll see. There's a lot of competitions. Obviously, we've just spoken about the Champions League, and we're going to need players with European experience when it comes to those Champions League games. And you have to say, Reguilon playing for Real Madrid, playing for Tottenham in Europe, at least he's got that experience, and at least we'll have someone with the European experience when it comes to those Champions League games in a few weeks' time. But those are my thoughts on the Reguilon signings. Those are my thoughts on the Champions League draw. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments. It's been a very interesting day. I'll be back to my next Manchester United reaction, hopefully tomorrow, once we've signed Amrabat. But if not, then it'll be after the Arsenal game on Sunday. I'll see you then.